What you got, Danny? What weight do you reckon roughly? No, there's a few fish coming out, folks. What you got, mate? How you getting on? 30 odd pound? Yeah. Right then, folks. Good afternoon. And you're joining me on day 2 of the Spring Spectacular here at Tunnelborn Farm, sponsored by Garbolino and Blake's Baits, and we just stood behind Jack Danby on peg 1 on Canal Pool. Now Jack won his section yesterday with £95. He's drawn an absolute rocket ship today in peg 1. Was really happy with that, and it looks like he's got a decent fish on here. He's in the same section as Andy Bennett, who's on the other end peg. So now I think it was a foul hook stocky, that one, but it doesn't matter. Keep on feeding the net. What you got, Jack? Oh, it's pretty close then, isn't it? Same. So folks, we're about an hour and a half in to day 2. Andy Bennett was second in his section yesterday, beaten on Club Pool. Jack won his section yesterday, so it was obviously really good draw for him today down here. He's a local here and a really good angler, but he's drawn peg 1 on Canal Pool. An angler that doesn't make many mistakes here, but as I said, he has got Andy Bennett in his section. Fishing a little bit tougher today, to be honest. Both Jack and Andy are admitting to 35 to 40 pound. Jack's just fishing down his edges where Andy's been having a few shallow. We will walk up to him in a minute just to show you what's going on. But as I've walked down this 5 peg section, so you've obviously got Jack and then all these anglers on this right hand side up towards Andy Bennett. They've all admitting to around the 30 pound mark, so it's really close. These end pegs aren't running away with it yet, but they do tend to get stronger, and this one that Jack's on particularly does throw up some of the better fish. Barry Zimmerman was on here yesterday, and I think Barry's had 106 pound, I think it was, off the top of my head, so really can be a great peg. And the wind was a lot worse yesterday. The wind's still pretty bad today, but certainly a lot better than yesterday. And you can see there, folks, as I walk around, I see the mistakes that so many anglers make. They're not active enough. You can see Jack's feeding constantly, and so is like Andy Bennett. You've got to keep that bait going, and even if you're not particularly catching, because at some point or another there will be an arrival, and that's when you've got to capitalise in on it. A lot of money at stake here. I think it's £2 for the winner. First time that Tunnelborn have actually ran this event here. Spring Spectacular it's called. Got 70 of some of the UK's top commercial anglers on this, and it's been sponsored by Garbolino and Blake's Baits this year. So Blake's Baits are doing a massive gift voucher of £500 I think for the winner, and Garbolino were kindly donated some rods, so certainly not a competition to be sniffed at. And yet next year, we confirmed it this morning that we are capping it at 100, and we've already got 70 on this one. You can see Jack straight back in there down that left hand edge. I think it's just come off that. But we're capping it at 100 next year, so not a great deal of room for all you guys and girls that want to get onto it, because I would imagine a lot of these people will get first refusal on next year. And we had a hell of a lot of interest via messages yesterday from new people wanting to book on for next year. So definitely, if you want to try and get involved in these big money competitions here at Tunnel, the likes of the Daiwa Paul Masters and the Pole Champs. This is going to be exactly the same kind of competition as these years move on. Our message tunnel direct. And as I was saying, folks, Jack's now one. So that you can see everybody's opting to fish down this, shipping out across, establishing lines over there and wasting time when realistically you're not going to be able to fish it for the entirety of the day. So I can totally understand why these lads are just fishing on the toenail, so to speak. Also in this section we've got Danny Grimsey as well, so Danny won his section yesterday, so we've got a really tough section here. I forgot about Danny, would you believe? He's on the next peg to Andy, which I think will be peg 9, so certainly a very accomplished angler. And when I spoke to Danny, he was admitting to 25 to 30 pound, and Bagger's admitting to 35 to 40. Bagger had a really good run a couple of minutes ago, shallow down the track, but then it just died on him. Constantly feeding it with maggots, as you'll see in a minute, but we're just coming up to Danny Grimsey here now. We'll stay away from these margin edges, folks. You can see it's a lot more calmer down there on New Pool. You can see my old mate Tom Scully's Fuka van there, so hopefully these fish will arrive a little bit. I just think it's a bit slower today because of that cold wind we've had constantly for the last 2 days now. But here's Danny. You can see he's just windmilling that rig over, just over next door is doing. You've got to keep that bait going in, folks, because as I said, these fish are hungry, ravenous little things, and if you're not feeding, they'll just go to somebody else's peg. Somebody will steal your fish, because rest assured, these big boys know how to feed. It was particularly difficult yesterday. As I said, the wind was making presentation now and impossible for a lot. So Rob Swan, who won the match from House 31, was actually fishing straight off his top kit in front and to either side, and absolutely emptied it on meat. He actually had some meat shallow as well. 7 of his biggest fish yesterday were caught meat shallow, slow falling rig through the water. So you've got to be prepared to chase them through those water columns. We're here for the entirety of the competition. We were here yesterday, obviously here today, and we're here tomorrow to see the conclusion out, to bring you live footage throughout. We're also doing an edited video which will end up on the Catchmore Media channel in a couple of weeks. Let's have a walk up to Bagger to see how he's getting on. But as you've seen, folks, it's not fast and furious, but it's close, 30 to 40 pound mark. But at this minute, Bagger and Jack Danby are certainly leading this section respectively from either end. I wouldn't like to say which one's. Danby's definitely on the better peg. Chucking maggots. The doppelganger, thank you, mate. Yeah, I swap over because it's good to have obviously a live feed on Facebook to drive the traffic towards YouTube, but we use YouTube because it tends to be slightly better quality. But yeah, I should have explained that we will be one live feed a day on YouTube, which is this one, and the majority of the other live feeds will be over on Facebook. But any questions, folks, as always, that you've got, please feel free to ping them across to me via Messenger, which is Gary Rogers. I do apologise if the audio is not great today. I'm trying to keep my voice down because these lads are obviously fishing close to, but also the wind is making it somewhat difficult for me. I am mic'd up, but hopefully it's not too bad. You can see there Bagger's fishing probably about 1.5 foot, just winding that rig over, feeding those maggots quite aggressively. There you go, folks, look, that one's taking that straight away. Oh, just come off. Got me excited there. So folks, Canal Pool, I would say Bag of Benny or Jack Danby leading away with that. And up on Jenny's, Ross is up to about £60 already. He said he's fishing shallow. He's managing somehow to find gaps in between the wind and feeding quite well across, and he's snaring a few to the reeds and reeds and shrubbery across, so he's doing really well there. Probably the best way I've heard so far, but I haven't been down to extension yet. You can see there folks, baggers in again, so there's definitely fish there for Andy Bennett. On 2 points from yesterday. A lot of small stockies for Andy and Jack though. None of the bigger fish have made an appearance here on Canal as such yet. Still a long way to go, but that is your update for Canal Pool on YouTube for day 2 of the Spring Spectacular here at Tunnel Barn Farm, sponsored by Garbolino and Blake's Baits. And remember folks, next year it's been capped at 100, so if it's something that you want to get involved in, get your names down now. I shall see you all soon on Facebook.